Shalom, Mishpaka. I just wanted to share something. I was reading a little bit in Hebrew. Well, I was reading in Hebrew and in English, and I caught note of something. And I figured I'd write it down and maybe share it and just see what people think. But this is Genesis Barashyt, chapter 1, verse 5. And I wrote it in pictograph Hebrew because I was kind of like how pictograph is formatted and kind of what it represents and everything. But I'll just read it in English and just drag it along with each character so you all can kind of get what it says in Hebrew. But yeah, starting at verse 5 says, "And called Elohim the light day, and to darkness called night. And it came to be evening, and it came to be morning." Day one, I wrote Yom after it by mistake. But a couple things I thought was interesting. Really, this whole verse is interesting. If we kind of slow down and kind of look at it for what it is. A lot of times we kind of like to go past things. Okay, he called day, when he called day, day, and he called night, night. And we think that's the end of it. But really, if we stop and kind of digest what it's saying, we might notice something that might be worth mentioning. For example, the first word, yakara, is and, the yud is a he, and then kata is a QRA. That's the called. And he called, he being Elohim. The light, la'or, or he called two light. The lamed is like a two. Two light, he called day. And to darkness called laila, night. It's interesting to mention that there's no he that was called. It was just like, and to darkness called. There's no he, or there's no he called like there's a he called up there. There's night. And it came to be Adab, and it came to be Bakar, which is morning, morning. Yom Achad, Yom 1, day 1. This just struck me as interesting. It's a lot of things to kind of look at if you pick it apart. Because for one, I don't like to. I like the concordances. I like, things that define what these things say. But there's always more. There's always more to study. There's always more to look at, and nobody ever has had the answers. Nobody ever has had the complete 100% understanding of the scriptures. So with that in mind, it's worth just considering, why is there a yud right here at yakata, and he called, and then there's not a yud right here after the choshek, to darkness called night, called to night, that's night, called night. So it's just something. It's just interesting to look at. Also, another thing is why. Another thing to really question maybe. Why does Yom take preordinates as a day down here, Yom Achad? Why do we call the day? Why does the day take kind of ordinance or I don't know the right word I'm trying to say here. Why does the day get to be called the day? Like the whole 24-hour cycle get to be called a Yom. Why doesn't the whole 24-hour cycle get to be called Laila? Because if we look over here, the Arab and the Bokur make the day. Interestingly enough, technically speaking, Laila doesn't even make the day. The Arab and the Bokur, the morning and the evening, and morning and evening are not night. another thing to mention. The morning and the evening consist of the day. So I mean, I don't know. It's very interesting to think about. But look at it on your own time. Genesis 1, Barashyt 1, verse 5 is a very interesting verse. I mean, the whole chapter, obviously, the whole book is interesting, but this little bit is definitely just worth considering, thinking about. But that's all for me. Shalom to everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful Yom Kippur, or as wonderful as fasting can be.